On another exciting edition of Animation Deliberation, this is Pod Race. No, wait, it's not Pod Racing? Well, what is it then? I guess we'll have to find out after these ads we have no say over.
Sing along if you know the words. Animation, deliberation, a conversation, and a celebration of my favorite action animated series. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Welcome back. It will never get old to hear that and die laughing every single time we start this. I am Andrew Rogers.
My name is J. Scotty St. Clair.
And returning is Zuhair Ali.
From beyond the stars, he is here once again. Welcome back, buddy. How you been? Let everybody know what's up.
Yeah, not too bad. My droid arm is still being installed. Haven't gotten the Anakin cosmetics done yet. But yeah, I finally got this shoulder surgery out of the way, and I'm trying to wean off of the heavy medication so that I'm awake enough to actually talk. So yeah, it's been a fun adventure. I haven't been nearly awake enough to binge as much as I thought I would be. So sadly, I only have like one anime that I'm halfway through. But we're here. We're whelmed.
Well, spend the night in the back to tank. You'll be feeling right as rain in the morning.
Yeah, no, whelmed is better than overwhelmed, I suppose. But were you at least able to stay up long enough to sit through Bad Batch and My Hero and all the good stuff we have going on?
I've definitely been keeping up every week. Bad Batch I wasn't able to watch that night like I said that I was going to, but definitely as soon as I was up the next day, I was like, okay, we're watching this. Distract me from the pain.
Ooh, well, glad you're back. Jay Scotty, how you doing? What's going on with you?
I'm doing good, keeping busy. It's interesting. I've actually had a lot on my plate in terms of like, we've been doing this podcast for a while, but I've actually had the opportunity to start teaching some people about podcasting and also working with Matthew Carroll, who's kind of like, created this network that is Stranded Panda and hosts the
Papa
flagship
Panda.
show. Yeah. But even with like being busy with all that stuff, I have found myself doing a lot more binging. So I will save some of the things I'm going to talk about for our My Hero Academia coverage. But it's we talked about how much there's going to be to watch in January, but it's all quality stuff. So definitely, yeah, whelmed instead of overwhelmed is the feeling. How about you?
No, all things are good here. I've been just hammering home on the anime. It's finally nice to not have 7 things to watch coming out weekly. Just like, oh, okay, I can get back in the, threads of binging and relaxing with it as opposed to hammering everything out. So it's nice, like you said, to have quality as opposed to quantity all the time. Just like having to watch 7 things that premiered that week.
Yeah. Well, my suggestion for what takes place next would be to give Zuhair just a little bit of room to maybe talk about his impressions of season 2 of The Bad Batch so far.
Yeah, so we talked about it. We talked about it a little bit off air, and it's been interesting. Episode 3 has definitely been the best out of the set. I'm not going to say too much about 4 just yet, but 1, 2, and 4, as nice as it has been to see the growth of the group and how much Omega has matured and developed and stuff. It's back to kind of like the episodic nature of like, I'm hoping that all of our episodes aren't like this and we get some more of the big story. But episode 3, that crosshair stuff is like, that is what I love about the show. And I'm hoping that we like drift more towards that stuff a little bit more. I'm trying not to say too much about 4 because obviously I've been like gathering my thoughts for that.
That's all good.
But one big realization that I had is my favorite things about last season was the beginning 2 episodes, the middle 2 episodes, and the last 2. And the common factor of those was that it was more of Crosshair and seeing more of that Republic to Empire transition and the emotional conflict between the clones and just kind of like how people feel about the whole system and the shifting over and all that stuff. So it's making me wonder if like I'm just more of a fan of the Crosshair side of the stuff than I am our heroes in hiding.
Well, do we want to go ahead and knock out the synopsis so we can just get talking about episode 4 faster in all its spoilery glory? So yeah, episode 4 of Bad Batch season 2, titled Faster. While Hunter and Echo are away on another assignment, Sid takes Omega, Tech, and Wrecker to a riot race on Safa Toma to visit her cocky droid racer, Teo. Sid is challenged by Malegi, one of her business rivals, in his racer Jet Venom, and during the next round, Malegi orders Venom to cheat, causing Teo to lose. When Malegi comes to collect, Omega challenges him to another race for Sid's freedom, but just before the event, Teo is wrecked in an accident. Tech takes Teo's place as Sid's pilot, and using his calculative intellect to offset his lack of experience, he wins the race. Malegi honors his part of the deal, but warns the clones that one day Sid might turn against them.
Bum, bum, bum.
And I hope I pronounced Malegi right. I couldn't remember in the moment if it was Malegi or Malegi.
I'm not so sure myself.
Yeah. I'm just going to get into it right off the bat and say that I can kind of agree with what Zuhair kind of hinted at, where this episode felt a little more tonally and thematically tied to the first 2 episodes. But as the resident fan of Tech, it was great to see my guy step up and showcase what he does so well, use his calculations, use his intellect to achieve something he's never done before, and to really come through in the end. And I just got to say, it was hilarious and awesome to hear Ben Schwartz as Teo.
Yes.
Oh, is that who it was?
John Ralphio for anybody.
Yeah. John Ralphio. It goes back to the conversation we had. Like, I feel like they're going to have good guest stars or something this season, because they had him again, and then I can't remember the actor's name that they had play Malegi, but he's the 4th Ghostbuster. Forgive me for...
Ernie Hudson.
Yes, Ernie Hudson was Malegi, and I'm just like, why are they getting all these great names? I love it, but it's so random to just have them appearing in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I thought he sounded familiar, but I didn't want to look it up. But Ben Schwartz makes it so much better for that one.
Yeah. I was wondering if it was kind of tongue-in-cheek because he's known for voicing Sonic in the 2 like theatrically released movies, and it's this droid that's going really fast. So, I don't know. My own headcanon, I like to think it was tongue-in-cheek. But yeah.
He just brings, like, they somehow got his mannerisms in the animation of, like, the way that it's just the overconfidence in his movements as well as his voice.
As his head is just, like, constantly flipping.
Yes.
That was the weirdest thing. I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah. And I don't know if we've ever had a droid in the world of Star Wars be that cocky. I think K2SO is probably, like, the closest in terms of being, like, sardonic and kind of, like, sassy. But this was definitely the cockiest droid that I'm aware of.
I can't wait till you watch Rebels.
I was just about to say, are we on the same page with this one, Zoo?
Yeah, we had that look for a second. I'm like,
Oh, is this in reference to the, what's the droid's name in Rebels?
I'm brain farting.
Yep.
Oh, it's the one that's, like, partnered with the Twi'lek, though, that we saw last season in Bad Batch, right? On
oh my God, why am I brain farting?
On the planet Ryloth.
All I could think is Wrecker in my head for some reason, and
that's what came to my head too.
Yeah, that's obviously not correct.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, now it's just like...
That shows how genuine we are.
The only thing that's coming to my head is the Happa.
Chopper.
I was close. I knew it was something like that. Okay, cool.
It's not a Wrecker, it's a Chopper. We were sort of close with our confusion.
Yeah, Chopper's kind of got like that old man Vietnam War vet type vibes, like get off my lawn, don't mess with me type of.
But his galaxy is the lawn, like.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, we joke about droids though. I have to imagine it was an Easter egg that they were throwing in there. The one droid that was one of the pilots that had like the protocol droid body and the battle droid head, all I could think of was the scene in Attack of the Clones where C-3PO's head gets swapped with the droid head. I'm like, is this the one? Did he make it all the way across the galaxy and now he's just piloting things after everything that happened on the Battle of Geonosis? Like,
oh my.
Yeah, when Teo was talking all cocky about like how there's like adjustments and stuff to the ship, it's like, I'm sure there are to you as well. There's highly doubt that you were built this way.
Yeah, it's one of those things we talk about droids, like what was his purpose before he was a racer? Like what was he built to help do up to that point?
And then I was like, there's no way that nobody else thought about having a droid as a racer, right? Like, this can't be an original idea.
Well, because there were 5 other race droids, like, in the race.
Yeah, and I was surprised at the number of protocol droids. It's like, aren't they normally, like, meant for protocol? But here they are, like, derby racing. And, yeah, let's just call it for what it is. It's basically pod racing without the pods.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, for how uppity C-3PO gets about, oh, I'm a protocol droid, I would never do this, to suddenly see a bunch of them in the race is very, very interesting, to say the least. But, you know, we talked about the plot at the beginning, and I agree that it's very much like a bottle episodic thing. But I have to feel like it's a testament to the writing that from a mile away, you could see Tech was going to have to take over. Tech was going to do something. But the fact that you knew it was coming and it was still like a fun reveal of, oh, how does it happen, is a testament to how much fun you can have with these characters.
Because especially all the emphasis of like, don't take the left one, it's dangerous. And you see like the close off tunnel and this and that. Like you start after seeing that track, like 3 or 4 times as a viewer, you were like, wonder why that one's closed down. Like the fact that it wasn't an actual barrier, it was a hologram that they could actually go through. I was like, all right, Tech, you really did do your homework. And there was a scene where he was like, why are you researching? Like, I'm a droid, I can figure this out. It's like, oh, because Tech's going to do what Tech does.
Yeah. This is probably dating myself a little bit more, but I remember when episode 1 came out, like not very long afterwards, there was a video game called Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer.
Yep.
Did either of you play it?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I played the pod racing in Lego Star Wars more than I played that, but I'm familiar.
I put a lot of hours into that game, so just like seeing that racer that was working for Maleki, Jet Venom, he was definitely based on one of the pod racers that appeared. He was the same species as one of the pod racers that appeared in episode 1, so I just like the visual continuity there. And yeah, it was high octane. A lot of fun. Really felt the sense of danger and that like anything could pop around the corner at any turn, any hairpin turn there. So I enjoyed it.
My favorite thing about Tech in this episode, it was a little bit predictable, but it was fulfilling at the same time, is when Sid was first giving everyone the mission, he was like, this is kind of beneath us. Like we're capable of doing more than this. And the tone and the way that he's just sitting in the bar, like trying to take it all in, you kind of get that sense of like, he just kind of misses his old job. Like he misses having the purpose and the goal and working as a team and this and that. So it seems like he has this void, and towards the end where it's like he wins and everyone's cheering his name and this and that, I was like, oh, there's the fulfillment I expected at the beginning of the episode. So I'm curious to see like how that tracks into future episodes, if he's, feeling a little better about his status now. But when Teo was like dogging on him for being human and not being able to make calculations, I was like, have you ever seen him fly his aircraft and all the exfils that he's done and this and that? Like, he's more than capable of handling your silly little race. But he's too humble for that. I'm not.
Yeah, it very much felt like we're getting a full rounded characterization of him, because he did seem to lighten up at the end as he was waving at the crowd, being like, yeah, that's me, I won. Whereas it feels like the Tech we knew at the beginning would have very much been like, why are they cheering for me? This was an obvious outcome or something along those lines. So it is that
I met the parameters of my mission.
Yeah, exactly.
This was the only logical outcome.
Yeah.
And you speak to that characterization, that full characterization. I think that's the other thing that kind of sticks out to the episode about me is the fact that we got to spend this time with Tech primarily, but Wrecker, Omega, and Sid to a lesser extent. But that's because they kind of took Hunter and Echo off the table. So I'm sure we're going to have an episode that follows up with them. But as much as I love having this full ragtag team work together and how they interact, I think it's kind of benefiting the show in its second season to split them apart and really examine what their emotional hangups are individually. So it's a trend that I kind of hope to see going forward because the Crosshair episode was awesome. I like this episode a lot, and I'm hoping we get to spend the same kind of time with Hunter, especially because he, again, like I kind of mentioned it with episode 1, but he kind of seems the one that's kind of like stepping out of the limelight to allow his brothers and teammates to kind of step into the limelight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, we get all that, but we also get a little bit of Sid, which it feels like we were kind of missing in that first season. She was very much just the I'm going to order you around kind of boss. And we got this inkling of, oh, she's starting to trust them more. She's actually like letting them in on a little bit of what's going on. And then also this overhanging, hey, she's betrayed people in the past. This is why she's made enemies. What comes next? Especially because we also had that tease in the first couple episodes of the pirate that was hanging out. So it seems like there is going to be a lot of the underground story told. And I hope this comes full circle and we get to see Sid hopefully not betray them, but, save them and show that she has that, back and forth loyalty that she was given this episode.
Fingers crossed. You guys have seen Parks and Rec, right?
Oh, of course.
Oh, yes.
Now that I know it's Ben Schwartz, the scene of him getting hit in the pit is just so much funnier because I'm just thinking of the droid going, I just got run over by a Lexus.
Nice. Because technically I'm homeless.
Oh my god.
My sister is the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just getting hit makes it so much funnier now.
Yeah.
I love Wrecker picking up his head for the second time. It's like, yep, he's not going now.
His dying words were, I regret nothing.
The moment where he woke up on the table, like, what are we doing? We need to get moving. Where are my arms and legs? What's going on? Everyone just stared at him like no one wanted to acknowledge what was happening. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Like you said,
don't look up voice actors.
Yeah, like you said at the beginning, I just hope this is like the beginning of a lot of great guest voice actors. But
for sure,
I think for my purposes, that's all I've got to say on this one. It was pretty cut and dry.
Yep, another episodic episode of Bad Batch.
Cool.
Another episodic episode, but they don't cease to be satisfying. I think that's the number one thing. Like, for some reason you're listening to this and you're like, oh, should I pick up Bad Batch? Like, I still enjoyed the heck out of it. Like most other episodic TV, I feel like I get left behind at some point of just like, okay, this is happening. Whereas I'm still very much like, this is fun. I want to watch the next one. Like, let's keep it rolling.
Yeah. It just gets frustrating when you know there's only like 2 episodes left, and it's like, give me something to build on. That's only right.
Do we know how many episodes of this we're getting?
I know it's going till March 29th. So if we get an episode every week until March 29th,
that would be some number of episodes.
What's 32 minus 16? So 16. We get 16 episodes.
Okay.
Very nice. So the same as last season. So we got time to stretch our legs for sure.
Yep.
Cool. Well, at this point, I would invite everybody that's listening, let us know what you're thinking about Bad Batch Season 2 so far, this episode specifically, any of the other ones we've covered. You can do that by sending an email to animationdeliberationpodcast@gmail.com. You can also record yourself and send us a audio recording of yourself, and we'd be happy to play it on the show. And there are plenty of other ways to reach us.
including all of our social medias. You can find us on Twitter at AnimationDelib1 and on Facebook and Instagram, Animation Deliberation. It's a great place to share all of our content with your friends, as well as see all sorts of fun stuff, posting plenty of things on our story, including probable pictures of this droid with quotes from Ben Schwartz and Parks and Rec. So all the fun stuff.
Cool. Zuhair, anything you want to let the people know about on your end? Any appearances as of late?
Yeah, just 323 with Reed Murphy. We got NFL playoffs right now, so just trying to call our shots and be treated with much guilt when we get them wrong.
Right on. And then the Marvel Cinematic Universe 2023 fantasy draft is well underway. I know you're working diligently behind the scenes to make that happen, so thank you for your efforts there.
Deadline is tomorrow, so by the time you guys listen, it'll be over.
Oh.
But yeah, join the Fantasy Heroes group on Facebook. There's been a lot of people who have actually been making like logos and stuff for their team.
Nice.
And like the artwork and the names, like it's really impressive what you guys have been coming up with. It's been a lot of fun.
Very cool. All right. Well, that'll do it for me. Thanks as always, and keep tuning in. That's TOONIN.
And as always, stay whelmed.
Oh. And keep track of Entertainment 720. Muscle.
Thank you for listening to the Animation Deliberation Podcast, a proud member of the Stranded Panda Network. If you would like to contact us, you can email animationdeliberationpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter @animationdelib1. For this and other great shows, you can visit strandedpanda.com or join the great community that is the Stranded Panda Chat Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/svchat. Tune in next time, and remember, stay whelmed.
While we wait.